Alright guys, Cop Cutlass here with a quick video. So we degreed the cam. It's set up dot to dot on a 107 intake center line. So we're good with that. The chain is obviously new. It's a nice, like the nicest timing chain you can get from Cloy's. I went ahead and installed the cylinder heads, obviously using our ARP assembly lube. Anytime you use ARP bolts, use their assembly lube, follow their specs. So as you can see, the next step I'm kind of holding off on because I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I guess the cheap thing to do is to, and I posted on one of the Facebook pages, and it was suggested to open these up with a carbide. And I've tried in the past, and I guess I'll try it again and see how it goes. I don't actually remember how it went. So if I can open these up. So these are 5/16 and we got 7/16 studs. So we need to open them up like 1/8 of an inch, which 1/8 of an inch means a 1/16 on each side all around. And you need to leave a little bit of clearance to kind of adjust it. I mean, kind of got nothing to lose on these because they're whatever. And I do have one single pair of Ford type adjustable guide plates where they're like the Isky split ones, and you can, you know, get the push rod in a better spot, which they're actually nice, but they're a little bit thicker than this. Another thing too is these rocker arms were second hand, so they got a wash in Dawn dish soap. I cleaned them out with a brush, got all the whatever grime it had, and I have them sitting in a soak of just transmission fluid. I like using transmission fluid for assembly on the piston skirts, a little bit on the rings. It's just what I've always done. Some guys use oil. I use a little bit of transmission fluid. But I got these soaking in there just in case if there was any moisture left in them. There is no possibility of them drying. You can see they are all fully submerged, looking good. We got our 7/16 studs. And then hopefully our push rods are still good. The heads were milled a little bit. But obviously, you can see I have a tray set in place. I have to figure out, you know, what I'm going to do about bolting it. Because I kind of don't like the fact that, yeah, you can put in a long bolt. But there's, like, even though there's no load on there, it really bugs me. So I think I'm going to find 1/4 studs and Loctite them in place. Set a nut underneath, Loctite that in place, and then do it to that. And another reason for that is to keep oil off of the intake. And if you guys remember, we had problems with our gaskets wicking oil, and hopefully this will also keep that problem in check. We had that problem in the past. So really, we're moving along. I got the oil pump on. Everything's been torqued down. You know, everything is good. I need to order a set of frost plugs, freeze plugs, core plugs, whatever you want to call them, casting plugs. There's always great debate about what to properly call them. But either way, we're moving along here. So, yeah, from here I have to clean the intake. Haven't heard anything back from my buddy about the intake gaskets. But I do have a bunch of intake gaskets here I can use. So it's not necessary, you know, I got big block gaskets, small block gaskets I can cut, see how everything sits. You know, we're going to have to pattern and cut them to match our opening. And then I think I did a video in the past where we kind of glued them in place lightly with just a little bit of RTV. And then I used like a Dychem type die. I put the intake on, and then I port, because I have to port the intake to match these ports. These ports are much bigger now. So, yeah, that's that whole deal. I did that on the RPM intake with the J heads, and everything lined up good. Actually, it's on, I did the video on the engine that's in the car now. So really, this thing is coming along great, and hopefully, I got a couple parts to clean up. Obviously, the timing chain cover. Once that goes on, the oil pan can go on. So really, we're kind of moving along pretty good. I mean, I don't think there's a need to document the assembly. There's a lot of other videos out there for that. I still have, plugs at the back to put. I was actually double checking, make sure I put them in at the front, but I have the spit plug to put for the distributor. And then you got the other just plug that goes in the back. I got those sitting over on the bench. So yeah, quick update on that. Actually, I did that last night. I didn't feel like making a video, but yeah, I got to clean the oil pan. That needs to get cleaned up. As I told you guys, that's kind of a cool piece. It's an old Kenny Bell oiling system. It's a stock extended pan. There's nothing special to it. That's got the spacer for the taller gears. Milan blueprinted the pump, so it's making 75 pounds of oil pressure. We do spin this engine up to 7,000. So before we were seeing just a little under 60 on the big end at 7,000, but the bearings were still good. So either way, I'm going to let you guys go on that. Lately, I've been making a couple of reels on Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I kind of did a couple of reels of old videos going down the track. Check that out. So share, like, subscribe. I'm also Copper Cutlass on Instagram. And so we'll let you guys go. And once we get into the other stuff, we're gonna check for our push rod stuff. We'll make videos on that. See you.